we just do our thing. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play Painting Live. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday evening. We're going to do some painting, some Mythic battles, Pantheon, painting, my friends. And we're working on the big stuff tonight. So last night we did the little stuff. Tonight we're doing the big stuff. And we'll see how far we can get painting up tonight. Ugh. I'm just cleaning up my airbrush because I am going to have to come back and I've got to do a little bit of work with the airbrush. So we're doing that right now. I'm going to open up my comment section. Yeah. We're going to cook through this commission here. And let's move over to live. Let's see what we got live. Okay, live now. One person watching. That person's me. It's me in my comment section. What's up, me? All right. So I got to get some black on these miniatures, but not just any black. I need flat black. So I'm going to go with my AK Interactive flat black. And this flat black is a little thick, so I'm going to have to thin it ever so slightly to try to get this to work, okay? So hold on tight. We're going to, I'm going to do a little bit of flat black on Hades here towards the bottom, and then I'm going to do some on the bigger monsters that need it as well. First things first though, a little bit of this airbrush thinner, and I really need this black to settle down. Let's get it going. Okay, this stuff is just barely too thick to go through my airbrush setup unassisted. If I was using like a 0.5 needle, I think I would be fine, but I'm not. So we're going to use this. This needle here. Okay. And I'm going to redo, well, first off, you know, client wanted Hades to be kind of fading off into black, right, towards the bottom of the model, like he's just sort of appearing and reappearing from the underworld. So there's that. And then you got Cerberus here, who is supposed to be like more gray and black. So we'll do that as well. I need to specifically need the black to be on the bottom of the mini. And I just keep losing that rim there. So I got to be very careful about handling the model along the rim there. So that's just going to be a problem with these larger models because I can't really mount them on anything. Oh man, I actually had a really nice airbrush gray that I could use. I think it's in my car. I think I may have to go get it out of my car. Let's get a little bit more black here. I need to get that. You can see where the black just sort of disconnected on the rest of these models. But yeah, we're gonna get this black on, and then I gotta run out to my car and then get the gray that I need to properly do this. Okay, so I apologize in advance for having a slight delay here in the feed. It's going to be a minor, there's going to be a minor intermission here as I do that. But it's good because it'll give this black here a little bit of time to dry. And I need this gray specifically for Cerberus. Got a really nice gray in store for Cerberus. First, let's spray some black there. And I just really need a bond. I just need to rebond to this. So I'll just shoot that. Okay. Let's get a good layer on there so I can get it to bite. Okay. And then let's keep spraying Cerberus here. All right. And then just one more little touch here on the Hades. Again, just trying to fade him out a little bit. And one more little lap here on Cerberus. Again, I'm just really trying to get the base of the model to cure up so that I don't like rub all the paint off of the side of the base. Okay. All I'm looking to do is I just don't want paint to run off the side of the base. All right, let's shoot the rest of this out. I'm going to run and get that medium gray. So, like I said, apologies for a little bit of dead air here in the middle while I run out to my car and get it. Letting this thing spray out all the black. A lot of black to spray still. Geez, there's still a lot in there. All right. So we'll get this gray down, and then we'll get into the painting proper, okay? All right. We're going to work on all three of these models at the same time. As of right now, Hydra is the closest to being done. But we'll see how we do, okay? So hang on one second, guys. I'm going to go get that gray out of my car. Okay, so I went out to my car to get some gray. I got this like good medium gray, dark gold gray. It's a Vallejo Model Air color. And I'm going to spray that on Cerberus as kind of a medium, a mid-tier layer, since he's supposed to be black and gray. So this is kind of an interesting. It's kind of interesting to have this model like look a little more grayscale than anything. Okay, so let's do that. It's kind of a lighter color. A lot of interesting little avenues on this dog here. Okay, there. So we're getting more gray colors out of him. And let's do some insignia white. So we're just really gonna ride this gray and black color scheme here. Then I have an idea. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I wanna fade an interesting color on the background of this creature. But let's just let's start with the white, and then we can worry about how this is gonna look. Okay, so insignia white about to go down. It's kind of a warm white, but it's a very, very good airbrush white. It's my favorite reason for using it. It's a very good airbrush white. All right, so tops of the head, tops of each head is gonna, you can see, got a little more white to it. And highlight around each strap. I want the straps should have a little bit more lightness to them. Tops of the knees. Okay, there we go. So getting a really good pre-shade going on the doggo. Now the weird part. I'm not sure if I want to do it. I guess it's okay. I want to really, really sort of. I was thinking about maybe doing a really, really sort of dark blue, but I don't know, man. Maybe a red. But just like we make a glaze, we make a really, really, really super thin glaze just to give it a hint of red. That's all we're trying to do. We're gonna give it a super, super hint of red. Okay. So we'll break out some glaze medium. Well, we're gonna make this thing as like microscopically thin as possible. It's just gonna be the weirdest little hint. So airbrush thinner, glaze medium, and let's go. I guess yeah, red I think is the right thing. I could do this Flesh Terrors red. and it's just gonna be a little tiny little kiss of red. And we'll see if we like it or not. I don't know. Okay, that was a little more than a kiss of red. Well, let's see. Ooh, this looks scary. I don't know if I want to do this, man. It's looking kind of scary. That red's strong. All right, I know where I want to test it at least then. Yeah, it's a very strong red. See how there's like musculature and all that behind the leg? Like it was like torn up a little bit. I'm gonna give it some red tone. It's actually quite nice. See how that's like barely warming it, and I can dial up the color however I like. It's actually really nice. See how that's coming in? That's actually super nice. And it's allowing me to get a gray and black color that does not look, it does not look totally stony gray, Got a lot of little tone in this, which is kind of cool. Makes the creature look still demonic, but stays true to that gray and black color scheme. That is quite cool, if you ask me. It's a really... Alright. The worry here is not to overdo it. I want to build up color in the shadows. Ooh, like that's a lot right there. I'm just gonna blow that out a little bit. There are going to be areas that are heavier, like here. Behind the legs are going to be heavier. I really like that back there. A little detail of the musculature back here. So the dog is still going to be very dark, and it's still going to be gray, but it's going to have a lot of good character in it. I think that's quite good. If I do too much of this, then it really starts to look red. But I just like how that red has given it some depth. Yeah, like it's got good depth of color to it. All right, cool. I'm pretty stoked on that. I don't think there's really anything else I need to do airbrush wise on that piece. That just looks great to me. I think I may punch up this red though, this red theme, by having the model's eyes, the eyes of the dogs, be a very, very bright red. Really kind of play up the demonic aspect of the miniature. Okay. I think we're done with airbrushing. And it's time to move on to, I'm going to start on Hades' skin. And this is where things are going to get very weird. Because we are doing like a fade out type of promise here on get these guys off the board here. Let's get our wet palette back on. Right? So like I said, the top parts of the skin, they're going to start off super light. And then as you go down the model, they're going to get darker and darker and darker. So I think what I do is I go Gilliman Flesh and just work it all the way down this miniature. Or I mean, the other option is I try to hit it with like the large scale dry brush right now, which I'm not opposed to doing. I could do the large scale dry brush right now, but it's okay. Let's do the Gilliman Flesh. Put that palette up here for now. Let's do the Gilliman Flesh so that I can go in, paint all the details in that I want, and then I worry about the fade out. Okay, so let's just do what we do. So the skin, because of the pre-shading, the skin is going to look very light on the top, like on the face here, and then it's going to get progressively darker as we go down the model, right? It's already a patch darker just going from the face down to this portion of the model. You can see there, like, it's really dark on that side of it. But we're really going for like a desaturated color palette here. You know, just to further kind of push that death and decay angle. So normally when I'm painting Gilliman Flesh, I'm usually a lot lighter, going in with a lot lighter undercoat than this, right? I mean, I may go straight up to white a lot of times. Hey, what's up, Jam Jar? Welcome to the feed. Hope you're doing well, dude. So I may go straight, like often I may go straight up to white, but in this case I'm staying with gray and just letting the gray kind of speak, letting it all fade into this darker thing. Right, so he looks whole, at least on top. And then we'll keep working it out. But yeah, the top part of this model, as you can see, is solid. And then by the time you get down here, like I'm going to hit this with a little bit of color, but no one will know that there's actually Gilliman Flesh down here. It's just way too dark to do anything. But I'm going to do it anyways, so that it's going to help keep the sheen normalized. So that you know, oh, I painted there because the sheen is, I may not be able to see any color, but the sheen is in line with the rest of the model. How are you doing, Jam Jar? You painting anything cool? All right. So we're just doing we're going to do a very, very faded out version of him. Let's paint some eyeballs. Actually, before we even paint eyeballs, we got to go through and paint tongues on all of the little heads on these models. That's the order I usually like with monsters and stuff. I usually like to paint the tongues in first. Roof of the mouth if I need to, and then teeth, eyes. So we're gonna go that way. This color Entrail Pink from Reaper is a really nice color for this kind of work. So this color doesn't even go on Hades, but it's going to go on the doggo, and it's going to go on the Hydra. Let's grab the Hydra first. There's only a couple of the areas where the mouth here is open enough to do that, and it's looking too light. Doing a Dracoth this month. Cool. Very cool. Yep. So I'll be painting these for, the next night or two as I wrap them up. And then the plan is probably jump into some God tier. I'll start painting some God tier. Jeez, cannot get this to. Hey, what's up, Nelson? Welcome to the feed. So yeah, we'll finish these guys. I'll do some God tier, and then chances are I'll probably have the next batch of these to paint through. Oh man, this pink is just not doing me any favors. It does not want to do anything in these mouths. So I am gonna have to beef them up with another pink. Yeah, let's beef them up. I just need a little bit more guts in there. I'm going to save this pink too, because this pink I can use on the spines of this model. So, but for right now, let's get the tongues down. Okay, so get those down. Let me get the doggo. These guys have a very pronounced tongue. So this guy's got kind of a long tongue. This guy's got a broad, flat tongue. So I'll just do a little bit of the roof of this mouth here. And this guy here, he's the least tonguified of the three heads. So he's got the least amount of tongue showing. There we go. Okay. And now let's start doing eyeballs. Now we're going to start doing eyeballs. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Tonight we're painting some more Mythic Battles Pantheon. We got Hades, Cerberus, and the Hydra. So very famous monsters we're working on tonight. And yeah, it was a pretty cool day for me. We took the kids got up early, took the kids down to SeaWorld in the morning, and made it back in time to go do some gaming at Comic Quest. So I got to we got to play some God tier. So picked up some God tier for myself, the two champions I really like. And I actually picked up a third champion. And then got to got to teach Sean, aka Blade Wolf, some God tier, and then we played a little guild ball afterwards. I got to try out my Rat Catchers guild. Hades is going to be weird because he's just got such a very desaturated palette, right? A lot of black and gray, and it's not really my forte is painting that deep into the desaturated side of our color palette. But we'll make it work, right? So these guys here, who have their mouths shut, I'm gonna paint black. I'm gonna paint a black line there so that we can get their teeth in. So they got God tier at CQ. They sure do, sir. So they have starter sets that come with the game board, and you get 2 champions and their followers in the starter sets, and those are priced really well at like $40. So that's pretty good. You get 2/3 of a playable team roughly for $40. You get your dice, you get the game board, you get your tokens. So that's cool. Then you got 2 options from there. You can buy a second starter, which is actually super good value. For $40 again, you get a second board. You get 2 more you get 2 more champions and their followers. And it only costs you $40. Alternately, if you just want, to buy individual champions and their followers, that costs you $26, which seems like a rip because you're only getting like 4 or 5 minis out of that. So just like think carefully about how you want to purchase God tier if you're going to purchase it. The best bet, your best value is actually just to buy 2 starters and end up with 4 champions. But there was a specific champion I wanted, so I bought the starter that included both of the 2 champions I played that day that we were learning how to play. So I got dual wield God, and I got Wu-Tang Clan, and then I bought a 3rd champion on top of that. So I have enough for one person to play a full scale game of God tier. But yeah, pretty cool. Okay. All right, next up, we're going to do the white. So yeah, my opinion on God tier is it's still a decent game. I don't think my opinion has changed after the basically the 3 small games that I've played so far. It's an okay game. It's a skirmish game. The mechanics have a little bit of floof in them, but it's not the draw to the game. The mechanics are definitely not the draw to the game. Like I'll call it a serviceable game. If we're talking mechanics, it's a serviceable game, but it's not like, oh my god, I was blown away by what, how innovative the game mechanics were, or wasn't blown away by that or the intense strategery of the game. So it's a serviceable game. It can be very fun. You play it with the right people. It kind of reminds me of like your Warhammer Underworlds, that type of thing. Look at that's not. It doesn't look right. What's going on there? Yeah, it just didn't look right. Dual wield or the single wield god with double. Yeah, I don't know. That game is just sort of okay to me. I'll have fun painting it up. I'll have fun when we break it out and play it, right? But it's just sort of so-so for me. It didn't really, knock my socks off when I played it. But it's a cheap game. It's fun. It gives you almost like half of a board game experience. Oh, jeez, I just screwed up that hand. Dang it. Okay. Sometimes painting eyes on camera is frustrating. Especially with that hand right there. It just keeps getting in my way. There we go. Oh. Let's do the Hydra. This like tedious level work can sometimes bug when you got a model this big and you're like, you airbrush it and you get all the colors blocked in and you're like, oh, there's not much to do, but there's all this little like tedious level work you got to do. Teeth, face, claws, doing all those little things. Some people really like that kind of painting. I never really enjoyed it. I like getting the big stuff down. The eyeballs are so small on this Hydra. It's weird to me that like models like this have smaller eyes than the humanoid counterparts down at 25 millimeter. All right, so getting some good progress here on these. So Christmas right around the corner. That's good. I'm in for a shitty work week though. This year, everybody decided that they wanted to do everything in their power to ruin, my ability to call early days for Christmas and enjoy the holidays. So there are too many like non-emergency emergencies that people are calling. I don't know. I might I have to decide as like one of the more veteran people at work if I'm just gonna call them on it or if I'm just gonna let them have panic attacks. jeez. Not the best detail here around the eyes and stuff. Not the best. Because they were malnutrition, too many mouths to feed on that Hydra. There's the eyes are so tiny. It's like I feel like I gave up on some of these. They just don't look very good. I think they didn't really. There we go. That's better. Better. It's not great. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you just, you lose a little clarity down here around these little parts. So you have to, you have to try to make up for it with a little freehand. Try to get some of the detail back into the sculpt. Okay. So the way with this new color scheme that I'm going with, like this grayish black color scheme, now these remind me, the Cerberus here reminds me of those little servants of Zool from Ghostbusters. Let's get a little detail there. Anybody else doing any painting tonight or working on anything? This model's coming along pretty well. Right? It's gonna be right there with the Hydra as far as being close to completion. But you can see how dry and chalky it looks right now. Oh yeah, yeah. Hate doing yard work. Yeah, no worries, dude. I just figured you might want to come by, check it out. We actually didn't end up playing Aristea. We played, like I said, I bought God Tier, so we played some God Tier, and then we played some Guild Ball. So it worked out. These angry dogs. Here we go. Okay. Looking pretty good. Now I gotta start dotting. We're not gonna dot these eyes or the Hydra eyes. Those are just gonna end up being a different color. But Hades, we will dot his eyes, obviously, because he's Hades. I guess I could have done, you know, yellow eyes or no pupils to kind of make him look scarier. But I think this looks okay. There we go. Oh. Okay. Now we're gonna just do something kind of strange on this Hades, because he's very monochromatic. He doesn't have, like, he's got good detail, but you don't want to overdo stuff on him. So I'm gonna do something a little unusual, and I'm gonna do a really, really just coarse dry brush on him, because I want to get top level whites on him, but I don't want to get too much of the model. So I'm going to use this gigantic dry brush to try to get all this right. Okay, so best way to check is try it out on, bits of the extremities of the model. Make sure it's going to pick up paint the way you want it to, and it looks like this is coming out just great. And now I'm going to dry brush most of the model. And just to get the white to pick out. Because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Yeah, less humanoid-like. Love that design on the shield. It's great. But we are going to make him look a lot more like an apparition, right? So this dry brush is still going to leave us with the idea of the model fading out to black. But it's also going to allow us to do some color on it that we normally would not be able to do on him. And it's really cool to be able to do this giant dry brush to get this. Okay, so you can see the dry brush allowed me to pick off some sharp edges and get some highlights down like that. Okay, all right. So I got to do his hair, and then I'm going to do his hair. We're going to spend a little more time on him for right now because he is the least painted model. So we're going to do his hair a brown color. We'll do I guess we'll do like snakebite leather for now, if I can find it. There we go. And then I'm gonna try something really weird, but I think it will work. I've done something similar to this before. Okay. First things first, let's get his brown hair on board. And the brown hair is gonna really just be, it's gonna be one of the only, actual colors on him. besides this monochromatic effect I'm going to do. And one color, really. Dude's rocking a unibrow. Look at that. Oh. Hey, what's up, Sean? Oh. Get that. The unibrow is strong with this one. Oh. Look at that. I'm not sure why he's charging forward like this. It's almost zombie-like. Okay, so there's that. Like I said, we're not gonna do a lot of crazy colors on this. He's gonna have very little colors, actually, because he's Hades. It's supposed to just be super, super dark. Whoa, whoa! Two of my colors jumped off my table. And there's, for this, like, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So I need this gray just to get me caught back up on some of this stuff. Right? Normally, if it was anybody other than Hades, I would have done these the bracers and the greaves and all that stuff. Those would all be like gold type colors. But because it's Hades, everything is going to look much more monochromatic. So we get that. Okay. The belt here across his, he's using force push. Bow! I need wildwood. Where's wildwood? Where's my wildwood? There it is. I'll show you how far we're going to go with this monochromatic stuff. Little belt there. All right, the idea here is really just push all the monochrome stuff. Okay, and then the last thing I need to do right now, like I said, this guy's not going to have very many colors on them at all, but we're really just painting an effect. So we're going to do some basilicanum gray. Right, so right back into those greaves with basilicanum gray. Sorry, not greaves, bracers. Right back into his bracers with basilicanum gray. Really kind of push that monochromatic angle there. Give him his little iron crown. So now he's really screaming. Push it here on the tuning fork he's got. I am Ray Fiennes, the Hades. You tell him, Hades. Right? So I could have gone in with Templar Black, but I feel like Templar Black would have made this look too black. So I'm going with Basilicanum Gray. Which will do a fine job of keeping everything monochromatic. While I fill all this in. That's a really, really sick shield, isn't it? Okay, so now we're going to let that dry for a minute, and I'll come back to it. We'll come back to him. But that's where what he looks like so far. Right now he just looks like he's just fading off into black. But we're gonna make it look more mystical and magical. So we'll get there. So right now I just feel like I'm just doing a bunch of special effects on these things. Okay. So now this thing. So all I really have to do on the Hydra, push the highs high, keep the lows low, right? So the spines and all that, we're gonna highlight. I'm also just because we can, we're gonna do a little. Thanks, Nelson. All work in progress, so we're just gonna keep pushing. So we'll get these going. I need to get kind of a liner on this, but first let's do yellow eyes on the Hydra. We're gonna do yellow eyes, and then we're gonna kind of wash it. You'll see. You'll see. Because I need depth to this model. So that's the idea. We're gonna do the eyes. We're gonna wash it down, and then I'm gonna highlight it up. And sometimes when you have a lot of a two-tone look like this, and you want it to, you really want to try to, make it look like it's got a good shade to it. You don't want to do Basilicanum Gray. I am going to do something different, and I need a big old brush to do this. I'm going to do P3 Armor Wash, and I'm going to mix it with the airbrush thinner, and it's going to form like a liner for this. I just have to find my gigantic brush. Where is my gigantic brush? And now I got a big old brush somewhere on this table. Did I put it back? No. Where did my big old brush go? I mean, this is a reasonably big brush. I can use that. It's like old. Yeah, let's use that. So this is just a quick way to get like depth, right? It's gonna dull the finish down a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad as long as I'm reasonably careful about where all this is going. And this is really where I love a paint like Armor Wash. Armor Wash is going to act more like a liner in this situation. Right, so it's just going to give me shadow. All I'm really looking to do is I'm going to paint shadow like that. And as long as I'm diligent about working it all the way down the model without letting it pool, see how it's just giving me, you see how thin it is? It's super thin. It's just going to run all the way down the model. It's going to give that the airbrush color a lot more depth to it. So it doesn't look like real flat and chalky the way like airbrush only paint jobs look. And this is just a really nice little way to give yourself some depth. And it does dull down the finish a little bit, but it's generally, it's not, I don't have a problem with it generally. I think it looks good. See how it's given me depth there on all this? And you got to work fast because of how thin it is. But it's going to give you nice lining. Right? It's going to give the model a little bit of sheen, which is quite nice. But like all that scale is going to look like you're going to be able to detect all the scales and all the wrinkles. You're going to get all that detail is going to come back. So it doesn't look super chalky. It looks like we went ahead and painted it. Now, if you did this with Nuln Oil, you would be SOL. Like it would not, Nuln Oil would dull the whole thing down, and I think you would lose as much clarity as you're trying to get here on these. Right? I just don't think, I think Nuln Oil is vastly inferior to this method of using P3 Armor Wash and airbrush thinner. You can see how the colors get deep. They're going to dry a little bit brighter than this, so you'll see right now on camera it looks pretty dark, but we'll get it all back. Get it all back. But this does look rather cool. So let this dry. We're also going to do this here on this guy. Oh wait, before I do that though, I gotta do, how do you know when to use one and the other? I'm not, are you asking me about Nuln Oil versus P3 Armor Wash? Um, I'll answer that because I think that's the question you're asking me. They do different things. Nuln Oil is a true wash, meaning it is going to, you use it to darken things, you use it to get shadow. But Nuln Oil, despite what people try to use it for, Nuln Oil is no liner and should not be used as a liner. It's a, it's just inferior. Armor Wash is was designed so that you could line and shade things like metallics. It was designed for that. It's lower, um, it's got a much lower surface tension than Nuln Oil does. So it's more likely to run into cracks rather than pool around the outside and live out there. So so Nuln Oil, so P3 Armor Wash is better for when you're not trying to, um, when you're not really trying to darken things down. You're more trying to, uh, line and shade only. Dude, I don't know. This looks super cool. My only problem with this is that it looks a little flat. But Cerberus does look pretty dope. Those red eyes coming in like that. Pretty dope, man. Okay. Let's also paint the straps in. So we'll paint the leather straps around his harness. Guess, do we want snake bite or do we want, or should, maybe they should just be like super dark, like black. Yeah. That's good. Let's do that. We'll just keep Cerberus as a very dark model overall. All right. So I'll paint some of this detail in. Like as long as I have a supply of armor wash, I don't even bother with Nuln Oil. Because I almost never need, you know, a shade and a tone like that. Instead, what I go for nowadays is I'll just do um, Basilicanum Gray if that's what I really need. Basilicanum Gray can do a lot of the same things, and it pushes me, more towards a little more opaque paint than Nuln Oil. I feel like Nuln Oil sits in a weird spot between, shade and liner. Red eyes make that triple. Yeah, yeah. They remind me of what's it called? Like I was saying, the dogs in Ghostbusters. I guess those were gargoyles, like dog gargoyles or something. There is no Dana, only Zool. So, so I reversed the color scheme that I had on him last night. But I really like this now. This is an awesome looking sculpt. Looks pretty good. Okay. Uh, so here I'll do Basilicanum Gray again because now I am trying to get a little bit of tone. So I want to get a little bit of tone in with this piece here. It's kind of like a studded spear that goes along the back. And there's a couple of pieces here. A little chain there. And then the grappling hook tail. But no, my boys are still awake actually. Octavius is he's probably going down pretty soon, but my 3-year-old Darius, he does not like to sleep, man. He's gonna be up for a while. All right, let's paint in the little toenails. I love that we don't have to do much to this sculpt to make it look great. Like this looks pretty solid to me. Right? Just the right tone on the body, right color for the eyes. It looks pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Okay. How am I doing on? So we're just about ready to go back to Hades and try the crazy shit. Well, let's try the crazy shit. All right. So in order to make him look like he's fading out into like blackness, I need like a glow. Like I need like an eldritch look here. Ooh, still a little watery here towards the bottom of the shield. So let's pat some of that off. Right? I need hints of it. I need hints of him fading out. And this is where things get kind of tricky. You gotta be careful about how you do this, right? Because I really want to use bright colors. Ooh, like this blue. I might use this towards the end of the process, but the beginning of the process has to be slightly darker. So I'm looking at this warp lightning here, right? And I'm gonna do something weird. You saw that I hit it with I hit this thing with a white dry brush. What I need to hit it with now is I need to hit it with the warp lightning in some of those areas to make it really look like, basically, if I drew a line this way across the model, that everything below that line is starting to fade out. Okay, and so I could do it with this, which is safer, or I could start jumping into other colors to try to make it a little more opaque. Safer to do it with the contrast paint. So I'd probably start there. Let me make sure I have a decent dry brush to do this with, because that's super important. You got to have, if your dry brush is not up to par here, you could wreck this whole model. You're painting some Aristea. Nice. Yeah. So this is going to be strange. I guess that's the best way to do it. Another way I could do it would be to just spray that warp lightning, which is not a bad idea either. I could spray the warp lightning and it would catch on the right surface. Spraying the warp lightning might not be bad either. I'm really gonna think this through. Okay, the safest option is we we do another quick dry brush. I don't know. We do another super light dry brush and then spray that warp lightning. Sure, it's a good plan. Let's do it. Nelson's getting nervous because he's hearing me second guess my own plan. Don't get nervous, Nelson. It's okay. We're gonna make this work. We are gonna make this work. Not rocket science. Oh, nice. You like the new colors you picked up. All right. So I'm going to go against the grain and really light here. Again, I'm looking for edges to get picked up. Right? So those edges are going to pick up the contrast paint, the bright color of the contrast paint the most. And that is going to give us a lighting effect. Okay. I could very well screw up this entire model doing this. So let's do it. Let's just jump right in. All right, what have we got to lose? It's just Nelson's model, it's not mine. I'm just messing. Okay. All right. And the airbrush is really going to give it some softness. But I gotta really be careful about how I'm doing this. Right? Because all I want here is I want some green influence. Whoa. I want some green influence, and then I'll dial it up as I need. Okay? So this is going to go down real light. And we're almost going to spray it from the bottom up. This green is going to fade up like that. I don't even know what kind of screen you can see on your screen. If this is doing what I'm wanting it to do. I don't know if that's any consolation to you or not, but yes, this is doing what I'm wanting it to do. So I'm getting that apparition-like thing there. All right. So now we punch it up. That's it. That's all we wanted to do. Okay, we're not going to do any more crazy things with the airbrush, but now we can punch this sucker up and make it look wilder. Okay? So now we're going to dig into the the palette here and go after some of these brighter greens. All right. So now we're going to go after scorpion green here. Okay? We're going to do some light work with scorpion green. Then we're going to punch it up even higher. That's right, man. I'm going crazy. Going crazy, Nelson. We're going to make this look nuts, like real magic is happening on this Hades, man. Okay? And now we treat this like a true highlight. Like a true edge highlight. It's going to really be towards the transitional point of the model, which is all basically up towards the top of the model. And it'll just, so again, I'm trying to go light, 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 down to dark. So down towards the bottom, we will fade it, try fading it harder into black. But here it really does look like, it really should start to look like this model's coming in from the underworld, like it's right, because you got so much. I'm even gonna blend some of this into his six pack here, like his six pack is starting to fade into this underworld, and I'm gonna draw all this darkness down. Darkness. I love doing like effects like this because, I could sit here, I could paint the belt, I could paint the pouch, I could paint the greaves. Those are okay. That's okay. But you know what I love about this? It's just pure lighting. It's so great. This is just pure lighting. It's allowing me to just really have fun with this, with the effect here. So this the design on the shield is really starting to come together here. I just love that. It's, call me lazy, if you want. Like, oh, you can paint the belt and paint the thing. And yes, look, we know how to do that, guys. We know how to paint a belt. We know how to paint that kind of stuff. What's cool is when you're playing around with lighting like this, and you end up doing something super, super cool. Okay. Fading that green up. Okay. So now we're going to punch it up even higher. So there is I have this Reaper green, which is super bright. If I can, livery green's not bad. I could do livery green. Do I want to do livery green? Or do I have a better green? I thought I had that dope Reaper green, which is even brighter. Where is that dope Reaper green? I mean, I could use this. It feels a little bit like failure though if I don't. Oh, here we go, man. Yes. This right here. Yes. This is the green I'm talking about, man. So remember, we're forcing highs high and forcing lows low. Keep punching this up. The last time I did a model like this was for Andrew. I painted his rider for Malifaux doing this type of technique. And he went nuts over it. He thought it was awesome. And it's just such a cool thing to do because you start to see things like really starting to get prominent on the model. Like the detail starts really coming up and screaming at you when you started off with a very dark miniature that wasn't highlighting a lot of this stuff. But you still want to be very consistent about that. Man, I'm just loving that. That's just so great. And we're going to fade the whole thing out. We're going to fade the whole sucker out. Okay. So now you can see the detail there. We're going to shade it down one tone. and then one last highlight, right? So I keep going up and down and up and down, and then you get it to where you want. We are gonna push the darks, man. All right. So here you go, Black Templar. Here's what we're talking about. We're pushing the darks. I don't think I'm even saying that right. We're just making the darks. How about that? This Black Templar is really gonna force that dark shadow. Dark shadow. Right? So obviously the feetses, all these parts here. Oh. So gonna lose some of this clarity here, but look at what I'm able to get out of it though. You lose a little bit of that brightness there, but now this black is really starting to look like black. Okay? And then it's really just, we let this dry for a second, and it's just one more highlight. Yeah, a little edge highlight here. Edge right there. Oop, too much. To wash that out a little. Okay. So we're just about ready for the final highlight on this guy. Oh, before I do that though, to at least get a little bit of white up here. Right. Cool. All right. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Final highlight. Okay. Final highlight on this ghosty guy is verdigris. And this you go sparingly, because this is really the light of the lightsaber right here. Right? This is just the tippity top of this. Did you hear that the lightsaber? No, I don't care. This is the lightest here. So with the super light parts and fading all the way down to black, you get this really kind of cool effect of the model fading out, like disappearing and fading out into black. Okay. Liking that a lot, dudes. Liking that a lot. As long as I don't really overdo it, it looks good. I just hope that, I hope Nelson likes it. That's all I really care about. If he likes it, if he's happy with how this turned out. Super fun is all I'm gonna say. This is a super, super fun model. All right. There. Ah. Okay. I think he looks pretty cool. I'm kind of down with this dude, man. I think he's pretty damn cool. All right, let's paint his base. Let him dry up. You know, when Nelson was describing what he wanted this to look like, he was like, just just barely paint it, just barely paint it. And I was like, yes, but no. I want it to look I want it to look barely painted, but I don't want to barely paint it. I want you to I just want you to see what the effect is. Yeah. Oh man, I need to go to the store and buy some more Thamar Black. I'm almost out. That was a lot of Thamar Black I've been using lately. Oh, no worries, dude. If you're washing dishes, all good, man. Just making sure. I mean, you could always be like, no, I hate it. Make me repaint it. Yeah, dude. That's pretty sick. I need to do some of my own minis like that because that's such a cool. I guess I have a Blackheart mini that I did that with. It's like the Ghost Blackheart mini, but I think I just painted him more like just a straight up ghost instead of fading him out like this. All right. That's pretty hotness right there. Let's let him dry. This guy here, we're gonna do just a little bit of just do a little bit of shading on him. Right. Just a little bit. Don't need to be a much. Don't need to be a much. I'm not trying to um like dip this guy. Just I want shadows on him. Especially around there, the wrinkles around his neck. In this spot. So I'm like fading this stuff out everywhere. It's kind of nice. I love this doggo. Look at him go. He's good boy. Cerberus is good boy. So we're going to give him a little bit of his tone back. Cerberus is good boy. Sometimes, like, when you get the right effect going, and you can do it on a good macro scale like this, it feels like cheating. It does. It feels like cheating. You're like, oh man, it's so it it took so much work out of the tedious level um, that some of this stuff can be sometimes, and it just takes that away, and you're just like having fun getting these effects down like the way you want them. When you said black and gray to me last night, was that last night or whatever? This is exactly what I was thinking. This is the exact tone I was thinking when you said black and gray. I thought of this. I said, okay, that's a good black and gray tone right there. Hopefully, we can get together around the holidays, Nelson. And I can get these back to you. We could try to get in a game of something. That would be quite cool. Alright, let's see if I can do this without wrecking the model. I gotta paint. Paint this Thamar black. Ah! Be very careful here. Okay. That was last night. Yeah. I'm glad you called me on it, because I was just kind of painting him to look like a regular pit bull. My son was like, "Daddy, is that a pit bull?" It looks like Cerberus, Dad. I'm like, well, it is Cerberus. So we just did a really quick about face to get this to the right color. And I'm a lot happier with it, personally. I hope you are. I think it looks way more demonic and menacing than it did last night. It's one thing that's annoying about these gigantic bases. You cannot You can't realistically mount it on anything to paint. You got to just make do. All right, so we let that dry. Dude, we are cooking with gas. So now we got to paint. Oh, screwed up already. Now we got to paint the details on the Hydra. Which really there's not that much detail left to do on the Hydra, but we are going to highlight the spines, right? Really kind of bring some of that coloration back. Just to get some of this detail back. So this is pretty easy stuff. Once you get to the easy part, it's not too bad. It just takes a little while to get to the easy part. Ooh, gotta be careful. I was calling it the easy part, but in danger of screwing up the easy part. Whoa. All right. I could try to brighten up this Archelian blue a little bit more, but I don't think I can reliably do that without losing too much of the scale definition. Not really sure. I mean, it does look quite cool. I will say that. Okay. Not bad. All right. The part that's going to take 9 hours is the black bases, letting the black bases dry. I just hope I've got enough paint here to where I don't screw this up. Scoot you over a little bit. Wait, I gotta make sure this all happens nice and clean down here. This is a great piece. This is another thing that was a lot of fun to paint. Again, it's, it's almost more like you're painting a specific effect. Just making sure that effect works. Ah, man. Okay. Ugh. Cannot get down into here. Ah. Tricky, 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 tricky. Trying to get into there. Okay. Ah. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully. Hopefully I get down far enough. I don't know. Hope so. Let's let that dry. Okay. There may be some minor things I could do to help highlight this. I don't know. I don't want to. I guess I could. No, I gotta really be thoughtful of how I'm gonna highlight. If I'm gonna do any more highlights on it and how. To be very thoughtful of that. Right? Because I don't want to. I just don't want to like throw the balance of the mini off by over highlighting. It looks super dark from here, but in the light it looks pretty good. I don't think I really want to do too much more on this. Pretty happy with that. I think at this point, better off letting everything dry, checking it again tomorrow, seeing if there's anything else I really need to do. But pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with it. Looks good. I'm gonna let all this stuff dry, and then I'll try to seal it tomorrow after work. I don't know. I'm not sure what my favorite thing to paint in this particular commission was. There's a lot of fun pieces in here. Don't forget the smaller pieces that I did as well. They just look freaking amazing. Like these are super fun things to paint. So we got her. We got Cersei. We're gonna set this whole commission down. We even have from Aristea. We have Parvati. So just a lot, dude. A lot of stuff. Here's these soldier guys. This was a cool commission, dude. It was a lot of fun. Seal them up, get them over to you, and everybody's happy. I can paint some God tier for a little bit. Take a little break, paint some God tier, and yeah, I'm lot. It's cool to see. It's pretty cool to see it all kind of come together like that, and when it's all together and painted, looks pretty dope. Okay, it's now 11 o'clock. I gotta get up early tomorrow morning, go to effing work. So I'll give it another minute or so for comments or questions or anything like that. What was your favorite thing, a part of this for this commission? What do you think was the your favorite thing to watch me paint. From a technique standpoint,